So what's your most recent or biggest recent epiphany about architecture, insight?
I think it's not even a recent, it's just the one I always have, is that it always ends up being around people. So I was really concerned about going to this room with these architects, but once I'd walked them through, my thinking, because I was deep in it and I understood it, they were on board, they got it, they asked a lot of good questions. We went out for dinner afterwards, we talked a lot, they were really supportive, and I was able to talk to their support in the meetings with the executives, even though they still weren't happy with the outcome. The other things was just in situations where, at one point in my career, I actually did a lot of on-call support, and it's much easier to deal with really difficult problems at 2 a.m. in the morning when you've actually met some of the people you're talking to. and in that organization, I'm not kidding, the infrastructure guys actually sat in the dungeon. I don't know why, but they sat in a room that was deep in the organization with no windows, and nobody ever talked to them. And I was very inquisitive when I was younger, and I just kind of went down and got to know them and spoke to them, so that when I'm talking to them in the middle of the night trying to solve problems, it's much easier. Mm-hmm. But, because architecture is always changing now, it's never a static thing. You're always dealing with people, and it's much easier to solve problems when you've actually got some level of rapport with people. And it's easy to judge. It's easy for me to look at that code generation madness and be like, what the hell were you guys thinking? But just to sit back and understand why they'd made that decision. It was a business decision, like Martin was talking about earlier. They didn't necessarily think it was the best architecture they'd ever done. They were like, that's what we were tasked to do, that's what we did. So I think it's really important to realize that it's people behind these things, and that there's the context is really important.